Welcome everybody to Conscious Cafe Global. My name is Gina Lazenby. I'm the host for this presentation tonight. We have Judy Piancas, our founder, on the call with us. I say tonight, we're in the UK, so it's tonight. And if you're watching the recording, whatever time it is. We have an evening talking about accessing your soul guidance, a very special event tonight. We have two speakers. Two women channels in two different locations. First of all, CAROLIN RATHBUN. She's a channel of universal source wisdom known as the Soul Collective. She's a life coach with training and certifications from Brené Brown, Robert Holden, Mike Dooley, and others. And she's helps people with spiritual guidance and down-to-earth practical tools. She's a writer and author of Love Notes from Your Soul. And both our channels tonight have a fabulous website. And when we see Carolin's website, she asked the question, what does your soul want you to know? Which is a very interesting question. Our second speaker is Trudy-Marie. Trudy-Marie Whitestar, she calls herself part tech visionary and part spiritual pioneer. So two very different backgrounds here. Trudy-Marie's background, I'm sure she'll talk more about it, was in tech, AI, and through chronic illness, she's found a new path as a soul guide and spiritual futurist. So what we're going to have tonight is both of our speakers, our channels, talk about how they became a channel, what that actually means, what they do. And then after that, each of them are going to take us through a process so we get an idea of working with a channel and working and accessing soul guidance. So I'm going to invite Carolin to speak first, and I'm just going to spotlight you. And we're going to give Carolin a lovely international global Conscious Cafe welcome. Let me find you, Carolin, and spotlight you. Lovely.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so pleased that so many people have shown up tonight. I'm really excited to talk about channeling and how it has changed my life and how it can certainly change your life too. So really excited to get going here.
Carolin,
okay.
You go ahead.
So first of all, how I got started in channeling, I think I've always had some sort of a spiritual connection, and I think we all do. And for many of us, if we've started out really sensing something, often it's kind of shamed out of us, or we're teased about it, or we just get a sense somehow with society that it's just not acceptable. It's kind of different. So I think, that happened to me in a little bit of a way, but I've always had a strong connection, particularly with my grandmother. We shared the same birth date. And since she has passed, I have had some experiences where I really feel guided by her. I have actually seen an apparition of her, which is unusual for me. But as far as channeling, I kept denying that I was doing anything remotely like this. And in a span of about 3 years, my life really took a shift. And I had been a stay-at-home mom, and my kids were both grown now and were off to university. So I wasn't needed in the same way anymore. So I was kind of dealing with, like, who am I now that I'm not a constant mom? It was like the identity I really identified with. At the same time, my marriage was falling apart, and at the same time, my mother had Alzheimer's. So within the span of basically 3 years, my kids had moved out, my marriage ended, my mother no longer knew who I was, and then shortly after that, my dad passed away. And so I was reeling in this energy, in this space of not knowing who I was. Everything I had identified with was no longer there, or was different. And so I really started my spiritual journey of trying to figure out who I am, why am I here, and what's my purpose. And I just intuitively started asking for higher guidance. And I was asking my soul, what do you want me to know? And for some reason, I decided I was going to write down what I was receiving. And the messages started very simple and I doubted them, and I thought I was making everything up. And I just kept at it, and the messages got more profound, and I started putting into practice what was being shared with me, and my life started changing. I was getting more confident. I was feeling like I could trust the universe had my back. I felt like I was guided all the time, to the point that I decided actually decided it sort of nearing the end of COVID, um, just coincidentally, I think, or not, um, that I had gotten to a point where I was now trusting my soul's guidance so much that I decided to take a big leap of faith and become a nomad. I had always, well, since I was about 19 years old or 16 years old, somewhere around there, I had always wanted to travel. And I was always too shy and too scared to do it on my own, and nobody I knew wanted to do it with me. And I thought, I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting for anything. All the excuses, I had worked through them. My soul was guiding me, and I gave up my apartment. I gave up almost all my belongings. And for the last almost 4 years, I've been traveling the world, basically following my heart and soul and letting it guide the way. And in that process, too, as I was listening to my soul and writing these things down, it got to a point where I couldn't write fast enough anymore. So I thought, I wonder if I could record what I'm receiving. And that's really how my verbal channeling began. And now I channel like up to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I'll channel a message. And I am, I think one of the things we're going to talk about is our experiences with channeling. My experience with channeling feels like, if you're someone who meditates, um, it feels like similarly to a meditation where I'm still consciously aware of what's going on in my surroundings, but it's not my thoughts that I'm channeling. So I'm off to the side, my human is off to the side listening to what I'm channeling, and almost every time my human self gets an aha from what I'm channeling, so I know this isn't me. I know this is new information coming in. Um, and so I help people now hear their soul voice. If I help them try to hear it for themselves, and I can channel it for you. So I channel what is known to me as the soul collective. It became clear to me as I was channeling that the energy felt more than just my own soul. And when I asked, who am I channeling? They said the soul collective, because our souls are all connected. I think of it as like the sun. There's this like a central sun, and we're all these little sunbeams. Our souls are all little sunbeams coming down. We're all connected in some way. So the information our souls give me is right for everyone. And at the same time, if I'm doing a channel for you, for instance, your soul knows you, your soul knows what you want, your soul knows how you hold yourself back, what your triggers are, what you're afraid of. So your soul is going to give you specific guidance. And at the same time, that guidance could be right for so many other people, because our souls all want us to have the same thing, which is to live our potential. So I don't know if you want me to go on. I do want to share one thing though. These love notes, that what I call them are love notes from my soul. The notes that I started writing when I started tuning in. I began sharing them in beginning of 2020. Just intuitively, I actually, it was a nudge from my soul to start sharing these things, and it was a really scary thing to do because I wasn't talking anything spiritual at the time. And I have they were very well received, and I share one a day for a year on my website that people can sign up for. And I get notes from people saying that, the notes touch them. It's surprising how on the right day, the right note appears, that sort of thing. So it has been such a gift to uh, learn to tune in to my soul's guidance, learn to trust my soul's guidance to the point that I now live a soul led life. Um, I'm always tuning in. I'm always asking for guidance when I know when I get in my own way, as my human self gets in my own way, I'm in my head, I'm trying to figure things out. And when I can tune into my soul and feel that guidance from within, everything falls into place so much more easily in a way that I would have never been able to figure out. So I really hope what we can share with you today will help open up that awareness within yourself. So I'm so excited to be here.
Carolyn, that is lovely, and you've very clearly outlined your beginning, the journey where you've arrived at now, and what you're doing. So we're now going to invite Trudy-Marie, and she's going to just change the spotlights, and she's going to do her well, I'm looking for you background and spotlight out the way. Yes, and then you can share your path. Brilliant. Trudy-Marie, we're going to do another welcome again, everybody. Welcome.
I am excited to be here. So because we're two channels, I knew that what Carolyn shared would also be mostly my story too. So I tried to find a different angle to add more value this time. And you can think of Trudy-Marie as my entrepreneurial high achiever self, because I've got a corporate background. And whilst I channel my higher self now, for most of my life, I actually was buried in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and logical analysis. So I didn't really have any spiritual exposure before that. And when I did try and meditate, I actually couldn't. I couldn't do the visualizations. I couldn't see or hear anything. And even some of the spiritual practices, I just didn't resonate with. So it got to the point where I just assumed I couldn't, and it was never meant to be. But I was wrong, as we usually find out. We can all do this. It's just we all have unique ways of doing it. So I think it was the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020, again with the COVID, that everything kind of changed for me. And it was then that I finally leaned into this higher self concept to ask it to be more active in my life. I think it's always been there, but it just was getting to the point where I was going to use it more consciously. Because I was a founder of a tech startup and I hit the adrenal wall burnout and chronic fatigue. And of course, doctors don't know what to do with that. So I turned to alternative methods. And again, a lot of those didn't resonate with me either until I found applied kinesiology. And luckily, the practitioner that I was working with was very open-minded and was willing to work with me as opposed to forcing me into that modality. And during my healing of my chronic fatigue, which is the kind of time where your body shuts down and you can't move, and it kind of forces you to go inwards and to reflect, that's when I actually developed my ability to channel. And it didn't sort of happen as a big bang and suddenly I could. It kind of sneaked up as voices and you didn't know what the voices were. And it took me a long time to realize that my healing journey was hand in hand with my ability to finally listen to my soul and to channel it. And my healing journey was my apprenticeship. So rather than it being a healing journey to fix my health, what I needed to do was to lean into this as an experience of spiritual experience, I guess. And then all the noise, because my mind was always busy and it was always chatting to me, I just thought that was just me thinking all the time. And then I discovered that noise wasn't random. It actually was my higher self trying to communicate with me. But, you know, we can't ask each other, what does your voice in your head sound like? You know, none of us have that conversation. So it's really hard to know when you're just overly thinking too much or when it's the higher self or some other form of channel coming through. But I do know that the more I resisted leaning into channeling, the more complicated and painful my life got. So for me, it felt like it was a predestined skill I was meant to have. And until I lent into it, it wasn't going to leave me be. I think it even said at one point, if you want to get better from ME, you've got to find your purpose, a bigger meaning, and start doing it. So like Carolyn said, we're all connected to our higher self. Most of us just don't recognize the signal, and we all have a unique signal. So that's important. Just because you can't do it the same way as somebody else doesn't mean you can't do it. And I also discovered my higher self actually scared me. I had a lot of fear around the channeling, not just from being seen and saying it, but also just the concept of my mental health and how that fitted in with these voices coming down through my mind. Later, I discovered the fear actually went back to the times of Atlantis, and there was all sorts of other ties in. You know, we all know the witch wound, but this went back even to the fall of great civilizations, which makes sense at 2020 when it was happening here. I also learned that the downloads were not actually abstract stories and fun to share with others. They were actually clues to uncover my dormant abilities. So they were clues for me. Even though they made no sense, they were clues for me. And I found, as I kind of went through the healing process, I started getting these more sort of subtle intuitive flashes. And then during my healing sessions, things got really crazy. My poor practitioner didn't know what to do with me half the time. I started sharing galactic histories, Earth grid recalibrations, memories of Atlantis and Lemurian, Big Bang. I saw primordial soup, advice on how to avoid spiritual manipulation. And of course, you can imagine, I freaked out. I was like, but what's this got to do with ME and chronic fatigue? What am I supposed to do with this? And I thought, oh, maybe I'm meant to channel this into a book. You know, maybe this is just a story in a book. But I most definitely didn't want to share it publicly. And I thought I was losing my mind, that these were energy attacks even. We thought they were energy attacks and some sort of energy manipulation. And I don't think all of us have to have it that way, but I think sometimes when we don't listen, we notice that our external world starts to get a bit more crazy. And that's usually a sign that we have to tap in a bit more to our kind of the predestined path. And I'll talk about destiny a bit later because it's not quite what we think. And finding anybody that could help guide me through this was impossible. It didn't match anybody I knew. Like I say, I now see it as an education because it was kind of showing me a new way for entrepreneurs and high achievers to do this work, because this works, my work tends to fit more with logical people. And it's been showing me new ways to work with cosmic energy, new spiritual practices. And even during the kinesiology, I was coming up with new applied kinesiology protocols that they were adopting. And I don't even know the system. That was meant to be the system helping me. So I think when you start listening to your soul wisdom, you find out naturally that you've got a natural infinity for doing something. And if you can pick up on that, that's the thread to kind of carry you through your channeling experience. Now, I'm clairsentient and claircognizant. I don't actually see much. And that was one of my blocks. I was trying to always visualize. But once I got past that and realized it's more sensing and feeling kind of experience, I was able to get some input from my channel. And that's when we found out my channel was called White Star. And I don't see her as another being. She is just a higher version of me, very much like Carolyn said. It's just a voice of me that just seems to know way more than me and also seems to know better than me. And I see her as the channel of divine intelligence in all sorts of forms. The problem with divine intelligence as a channel is that it's really hard to get visuals to translate into something meaningful. So instead, I had to start creating a new modality for how to interact with that. And when I look back at my childhood, there was little hints, because people would come to me and say, oh, that advice you gave me was really like mind changing. It changed my whole trajectory in life. And I don't even remember what I said. And I could be as young as 6 telling people amazing things. So that was kind of like a hint after I realized I could channel, that this is what had been happening to me. And I think if we can recognize this pattern through our lives, there is a thread that goes through everything you've been doing up till now, has been a challenge or an experience that's really meant for you to tap into your DNA to awaken a new spiritual technique, because we're here at a time that is unprecedented, this chaos. We're here to do something amazing. And I think we are waking up to some of our abilities, which includes channeling, so that we can be the people here to support the evolution from 3D to 5D. Now, I'd never said those words 5 years ago. But the trick is with this, it's not spiritual as such. So when you come to look at your channel and what you're channeling, it's not always what you hear other channels doing. It could be simply recipes for cooking. It can be a new project management method. We can channel all sorts of things without recognizing them. And that's what I wanted to kind of pass through today, is to emphasize the different type of language you get and the different domains. So I guess I've had a few visions, and they're usually quite rude. They kind of pop right up in my face, but that's not my normal channeling method. So technically, when I'm speaking like I am now, I'm channeling. Often I listen back to my conversations and go, oh, wow, that was interesting. Like I've heard it for the first time. I don't know. It's literally coming through. Sometimes I translate words. Sometimes I have to say words that I feel are coming through. But the kind of theme of my work has always been to help people awaken, but I didn't know to what. But like Carolyn, I've had arguments with my higher self where we have long conversations and they're saying, do this. And I'm like, no, I won't do that. And then eventually we find out it was the right thing to do. And it's actually easier just to get on with it and try it. But most of the things I'm encouraged to do, whether it's show up on video, speak about things, or start writing courses or podcasts, is that it's all about really tapping into your uniqueness, because it's trying to help you remember your true essence. So if you always come from the stance of your channeling is your self-development tool before thinking of it as a means to entertain other people or to help other people, you'll find more depth to the channel than what you think it is. So I think the key thing is for people when they start channeling is to recognize the difference between their soul and their personality voice, and to start documenting that. I get people to write on a bit of paper their current thoughts, whether it's whatever it is, just write it down and then try and put it into a jar for soul and a jar for personality. And then you can go back and review the two jars, because what that allows you to do is to start recognizing the two voices. But personality typically is more fearful and playing small, and the soul will want you to go bigger. So there's a little bit of fear involved in it, but it's more because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. I think the moment I finally started listening to this voice seriously was just before COVID, 2019. And at first I argued because it said there's huge global changes coming, and that was the biggest message I'd ever had. And I just said, no way am I writing that. And I kind of watered it down and shared a message on Facebook and thought that'll keep it happy. And then March 2020 hit, and I had to sit down and have a long, strong talk with myself in the mirror and go, there's something more important here that you're missing. These are not just background noises. These are almost instructions. And I feel that the higher self can give us instructions on how to navigate our life. And the thing is, the next surprise was it wasn't just about me. This is all related to the fundamental shift of human consciousness that we're going through right now. It was preparing for the technology disruptions. So it's kind of like everything we already know, we can't rely on anymore. The future's changing. We can't rely on our qualifications of what we know with AI. So this is all encouraging us to say, if we've lived in a knowledge-based economy up till now, that's not the future. We have to find another way. And that's what channeling and tapping into your higher consciousness will do. And the thing is, White Star knew all this and showed me this even before I knew what the age of Aquarius was. It's just that because I'm naturally analytical, I intellectualize things, then I always research. And then I find the proof and the validation. And that's how I started to learn to trust this voice that was coming in. But you get to a point, again, like Carolyn said, that you just have to surrender and trust it, because it proves itself to be true way more times. Because the process is very much, it starts in the middle, starts at the back, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 10 steps forward. So you can't use traditional linear thinking or linear approach to this. You have to completely rewire your operating system to operate in a completely different way. And given my background in IT, then as a programmer, it really kind of fitted my skill set to be able to start breaking it down and analyzing it and creating methodologies from it. And that's when I created the quantum testing technique. And it's based off kinesiology and body testing, but it's got a bit more around it. And it basically bridges the analytical mind to the spiritual intelligence. And I don't do it through meditation. I don't do it through visualization. It's a direct communication protocol. So I'm constantly in touch with my higher self. My body is giving me answers sometimes before I even ask questions. And I'm just constantly there. I think like in one of esoteric astrology, a Sagittarius talks about becoming the arrow. And that's how it feels. It's like there's this guiding force that's guiding me into different areas of my life. So 2020, I told White Star to take over, and everything I've done since then has been created by her. It's been like complete courses have come out from just sitting there and just allowing her to speak, and then transcribing it and creating courses off the back of it. And it's basically reimagined my whole purpose beyond what I could have created with my mind alone. So I think in the future, and this is kind of key to what I'll be doing later, but in the future, there's no job titles. That's what I keep saying. And what White Star seemed to already know was that in this age that we're going into, this age of Aquarius, when we move into 5D, if you imagine you don't have a job title, how are you going to apply for work? How are you going to, it's like everybody says, oh, what do you do for work? And that's how you introduce yourself. What replaces that? And it seems like the term the White Star said is your great vision. Think of the Renaissance, you know, there wasn't so much job titles, it was visions. And that's what my work's all about, is helping people prepare for this non-rigid job environment that creates a more fluid, dynamic ecosystem of human potential. And now that AI is awakening like it is, it makes a lot more sense. So that's a bit about my background and a bit about my skill set and how my White Star has come through. But I thought at first it was only me that would like manage this technique, but actually I've tried it with non-spiritual people completely from scratch, and they're all using it immediately. And we find that we're about 3 months ahead even of astrology and ascension updates. So it is quite future thinking. But the problem is that brings its own battles of self-doubt, because you're the only one talking about some of this stuff. And then you feel like you're the one on the outside of the circle thinking, how am I going to explain this? And then suddenly everybody else is speaking about it. So it does make you trust yourself a lot more. So if you didn't before, it is an experience of self-trust. So I think my high achiever was really important part of who I am, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to take all of this complex symbology and information and create what I've created. So I think White Star always knew this wasn't about a spiritual connection. It's about liberation of remembering who you are, and about clearing all your bad habits, your survival skills that have been holding you back, and starting to help you see it's not about what you do, what you know. It's actually about who you're becoming and the frequency you can hold for everybody else. So hopefully that gives you an idea.
Just wonderful. That's really inspiring. It's interesting that both of you came to this pivotal point in your life of a new direction or an acceptance of something happening within around COVID. It seems to be interesting, you know, how many other people identify with that as a time of awakening. Interesting. And so you're both going to do an exercise for us now. It's funny, Trudy-Marie, you were saying about channeling information, you don't know what you say. Do not myself identify as a channel, although you're going to tell us that we all have those abilities. There are some times when I have spoken and I've said something and it sounds really profound, and they said, say that again, and I go, I can't. I can't say it because I don't know what I said. I hope you were recording. So it sounds like I'm doing my piece of channeling there. I think if we analyze it, we'll find that, won't we? So thank you for now. I'm going to invite Carolyn back. We're going to have some exercises. So Carolyn, I'm going to bring you forward here out of the spotlight, and you're going to take us through a process. And I'm going to let you explain what it is, because when the process is finished, you're going to give people time to write it or whatever. And then people can put their comments or questions in the chat, and I can read out those questions to you if we have them. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to disappear, and then you've got the floor, and off you go. Thanks, Carolyn.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm going to lead you through a guided meditation, and you will be asking your soul for a message. I don't want you to feel that you have to write this down as soon as you get your message. You won't forget it. I would prefer that you stay in the energy and experience the whole thing. And I will be guiding you back into the present moment. And then, as Gina said, you'll have a bit of time to write it down then. So let's begin. Get yourself in a comfortable position. Put your feet on the floor if you're sitting. If you want to lie down, feel free. Just get yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. Relax your muscles. And I want you to forget about what you were doing before you came to this call. Forget about what we were just talking about. Forget about what you have to do after. And just gift yourself with this moment. Your soul guided you here. You're here for a reason. And allow your breathing to slow to a relaxed and comfortable pace. Release any skepticism you may have. Think of this as though you're doing an experiment. You just want to see what happens. Release the need to know how it's done or where it's coming from. Allow your energy to be playful and light. Open yourself to curiosity. Open yourself to childlike wonder of the unknown. Open yourself to possibilities. There is nothing to fear. There's only beauty to be found. Enter the space with curious wonder of the gift that awaits. There's a treasure here, and it's meant just for you. So take another long, slow, deep breath. And exhale any resistance. And in a few moments, when I ask you to, you'll ask your soul for a message. You may see words, you may hear something, you may see an image, you may get a feeling. Allow the message to arrive however it wants to. There's no one way, there's no right way. Try not to judge it or analyze it. Know that whatever you are about to receive comes to you with the highest intention, from a place of pure, unconditional love for your expansion and highest good. This is a message meant for you. Allow yourself to be bathed in pure love and light. Breathe at a comfortable pace. And now we're going to go deeper. Take a deep breath in and exhale at your own pace. Relax your feet. Wiggle your toes and relax them. Relax your ankles. Relax your shins and calves. Relax your knees and your thighs. Let your entire legs and feet relax. Relax your groin and your stomach and your buttocks, your lower back, your upper back, and your chest. Let your entire torso relax. Relax your arms, your upper arms, your lower arms, your elbows. Give your fingers a wiggle. Make fists and relax your hands. Let your entire arms and hands relax. Relax your neck. Relax your throat. Relax your jaw. Relax your mouth. Relax the small muscles around your mouth. Release any tension in the small muscles around your nose and around your eyes. Let your forehead relax. Let your scalp relax and your ears. Allow every hair on your head to relax. Take another deep breath in and exhale any last tension. Let it escape through every cell of your being. Now feel within you, in the center of your chest, that there is a light. It may be small, but it is there. You sense it is there. A golden white light in the center of your being. And with every inhale, the light grows brighter and it grows larger. And it begins to expand through your chest, through your torso. It fills your legs and your arms, and your head. Your entire body is glowing with this beautiful white golden light. This is your soul, your inner being, your inner guide. Your all-knowing, all-loving soul. Take another deep breath in. And allow the light to expand beyond your body. Feel it expand through your skin so it creates an orb or a bubble around you. And as though you leave your physical being behind, you float up into this bubble. You are this light. You are this golden light. It is bright. It is warm. It is pure. This is who you are. And now you are going to ask your soul. Say to yourself, dearest, loving soul, what do you want me to know right now? Allow the message to come however it does. And when you receive a message, ask it again. What else would you like me to know right now? Just be in this space, in this communion with your soul. Feel the unconditional love. Feel the energy. Feel the pureness. Feel the truth of all that you are. And now, thank your soul for showing its presence to you. So you will always know the kind of power and love and joy that resides within you always. And allow the light to gradually reduce in size, slowly, slowly, slowly. Allow the light to come back to your body, to your skin. Allow it to be absorbed back into your human form. Allow it to be a part of your cells, course through your blood, pump through your heart, be a part of every cell in your body. And slowly begin to feel yourself coming back into the present moment. Notice the sounds in the room, the sensation of your body on the furniture, the feeling of your breath going in and out of your nose and through your nostrils and through your throat and into your chest. Begin to feel your body again on the furniture. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and come back into the present moment. Knowing and feeling that your soul is still a part of you. You are connected. You are one. Breathe at your own pace. And when you are ready, open your eyes and we'll take a moment or two, minute or two, to write down the message you heard from your soul and how it felt to be in connection with your soul.
If anybody wants to, can read from the chat or has a observation or question. Love companies. Yeah.
Lorena, you are love, be calm, be peaceful, all is good, all is working out, all is well, trust, be still. Wow. Debbie received be, then secondly, love. Quite definitely. I was not expecting that. Oh, Debbie, wonderful. Norma, I got word peace and love, felt loved and at peace. Wow. Anik, you don't need to suffer. You will be spared. You must trust. Oh, wow. Thank you. Be in universal energy. Expand in universal energy. Heal in universal energy. Violet, wow. So how did that feel? Does anyone want to share how it felt to just be in the space with your soul? Did it feel like you were being connected with your soul? Blissful, loving. You were loved. Today was a signal that you were on the right track. Trust.
Just showed us that very quickly, a simple process to get to this state of bliss. I mean, we were 15 minutes and quite a few people have talked about this deep love and peace and bliss. And that's 15 minutes of simple, isn't it?
Felt very loved, warmed and supported, like a big hug of pink. Oh, beautiful. Quite a powerful, deep experience. I couldn't help but be a bit skeptical. Yes, of course. That's our human self coming in, going, is this true? Is this me making it up? And one way you can know the difference is by looking at all these other messages. You can feel the love, the unconditional love that has come through. So if you're getting a message of, oh, this is silly, that's your head. It's being skeptical, it's being doubtful, it's maybe being critical or judgmental. That's the voice of your head. Your soul is always, always loving. So that's one quick way to feel the difference and notice the difference. Wow. Calmness. Yvonne, I got a message saying, are you kidding me? You are seriously wondering if we have been in connection. All your hunches have been right. You are listening. We are speaking. Felt like my soul is fun and has a sense of humor. I think that is part of our soul's makeup. My soul is very playful and very fun. And I think all of our souls are. I think that's another hint that you are connected with your soul. Our soul wants us to have fun. Our soul wants us to be joyful, and they want us to play. Life isn't supposed to be hard. We make it hard, but our souls want us to reconnect with that playfulness that we have, that trust we had as children. So yeah, that's a very good point. And it's kind of challenging you. Are you kidding me? I'm talking to you all the time, but you're not listening. Yeah, golden light. Yeah, very expansive. I saw visions of Native Americans, one old with a headdress and many feathers, and one young, strong, and vibrant with one feather in his headband. Wow, very interesting. So again, you see how one person received a vision and other people received a message or a feeling. It comes to you however you're ready to receive it. And we all have different senses that are our stronger senses. Like Trudy was saying, I can't remember which Claire she was, but I tend to have a knowing and I will hear something, and then vision is sort of my third one. But some people are very visual, that they see something, they see an image, and that gives them triggers a feeling or a memory or a thought, or just the vision is enough. So it does come to us all in different ways. And whatever way it comes to you is right for you. So if you didn't receive anything, you do have the recording that you can go back to, or you will have the recording. And consider that maybe you did receive something and you were skeptical, or you were doubting it. You were thinking that you're making it up. So again, kind of do that test of how did it feel? What kind of message did you get? And another thing you can do is ask your soul, keep showing me. Show me something tomorrow. What do I need to know? And then be open to how it might turn up for you. So, people are always saying, I want to look for a sign. So one way that you can know if a sign is a sign and you're not just making it up is in how you feel when you see that sign. So if a lot of people say a feather is a sign. So if you're walking down the street and you're looking for a feather, I want a sign. So you're looking for a feather, you're trying to make that fit. And then you're going to see that feather and you're going to realize, well, I was looking for that feather. So is that really a sign? And maybe it wasn't a sign. So now I have to ask for a different sign. Show me a quarter. And then you might see a quarter. Well, I don't know. Maybe I made that up. So if you are walking down the street and you just happen to glance over and a feather catches your eye and you feel something, you feel like a twinge or a tingle, or that feels like a gift, or it feels like it's from something, or it feels like it has a message, that's a sign. And you can ask it, what do you want me to know right now? It could be a tree, it could be a feather, it could be anything. What do you want me to know right now when this thing shows up in your presence and it excites you, it sparks curiosity in you, it's unexpected, you're not looking for it, it just shows up? Ask it, what do you want me to know right now? And see what the feather says.
Beautiful, beautiful. Carolyn, thank you. I'm sure we're all in a beautiful golden calm space now, and we're going to go on to our second exercise. People may have more questions later, but thank you for that. That's beautiful. And I'm now going to invite Trudy-Marie White Star, Spotlight, and then if you want to, yeah, you're unmuted. And again, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks. So Karen's just taken you to meet the soul light. What I've realized only recently in some of my downloads is there's two concepts now. There's the higher self and the soul light. The soul light is your consciousness of multidimensional knowledge, and it's very feminine and very loving and very blissful. The higher self is slightly more male orientated, and it's more action taking. So now I want to kind of get you to meet your higher self, because understanding this frequency is good, but now the question is what do you do with this? What's your next step to embody this into your life? And that's where the higher self can help. So what I want you guys to do is, if you can draw on a bit of paper, a little circle, like a tiny dot in the center of the page. And that tiny dot represents your personality. This is the bit of you that perhaps you use 80% of your day. And then see if you can tune in and just intuit from the soul you've just connected, draw another circle around this little circle. So you have like a wheel, a circle with a dot in the center. And just try and intuit where that circle would sit. So you'll end up with a circle and a dot in the center. Now, the second circle normally represents the space that is your consciousness awareness that is more easily accessible to you. It's what's near. You might not have explored it all, but it's nearer. There's actually another circle outside all of this, which is the area you're frightened to go into, where some of the more global aspirations sit, something bigger than you. So in that space, you can find out what your purpose is for the evolution of humanity rather than just your personal problems. So we start at the dot, which is your personal problems. Then we can go into the soul, which we've just done. I want to try and take you into the outer circle to experience what you might be here to do for the world right now, with the higher self to give you an action. So we've already done the nice relaxing, but this time I want you to kind of be here and there. This technique needs you to be here and there so you can document as you go. And I use a technique that is body testing. And if you can sit up so that your back isn't leaning against something, and sit so that your body can easily go forward and backwards. And you just want to be tense enough not to go floppy and fall off your chair, but firm enough to allow your body to give you a yes, forward, a back, no. And any wobble in between is you're probably asking the wrong question. And as we go through this now, I want you just, before we start, just think of something that you think is your personal aspiration, some goal, some dream, some thing that you think you want to achieve in life. So just see if you can think of what that is. You're in that zone already. And then write that one down. Just an idea. It doesn't have to make sense when you get information like this. It could be just random words. It could be a feeling. It could be like a frequency you want to attain. It could actually be a vision, just all the things that Carolyn mentioned. It can come in many ways. And now what I want you to do is, using your body testing, ask if this is your biggest vision that you can attain in this lifetime. And see if your body goes forward or back. So is this the biggest thing you're here to do? Now, it takes some time to practice the body testing, so we can always come back and try that again. Another way to ask is, from 1 to 100, this is my biggest aspiration right now. And then just let a number pop into your head. And then just write that down next to your goal. Now, you guys are already channeling now. This is channeling in a very instantaneous kind of way. If you ask the right questions, you will get answers. Just know that the answers are determined by your current biases, beliefs, and limitations. So that doesn't mean they're the right answers. They're just the right answers for you right now. So now I'm just going to ask you to tune into your higher self now. So you've met the soul consciousness. Let's see if we can get the higher self. And they can be a bit bossy, and they tend to be like, do this, do that type of language that we're looking for. And if you have any doubts as to what they're saying to you, ask a question in your mind and then use your body testing forward and back to see if you've got it right. So yes, no answers. So if you think they said, you're meant to write a book, then ask, am I writing a book? And say yes, no. Am I co-authoring this? Am I writing it with somebody else? Or am I meant to go for coffee with this person or not? So just allow the questions to come to you and allow yourself to test as you go, okay? So let me just take you to meet your higher self. So everyone has a great vision. And this is what we're trying to tap into. And it evolves as we evolve, as we get more liberated and step into our true essence. We will get bigger and bigger visions. It doesn't want to scare you. It doesn't want to tell you that you're about to be some sort of goddess on a throne doing amazing things, because most of us will freak out about being seen on video or being spoken, like heard. So we have to go through those fears first. It's usually quite gentle in the way it'll lead you in the right time frame for you. So the first thing we have to do is reset your nervous system. So I bring in a white light. This white light, I'm a flame holder for the divine intelligence from Atlantis. So when I bring this white light in, imagine it's bringing back all your lost memories of all the skills and powers you used to have in past lives, from all lifetimes, parallel lives, even future. Time is non-linear, so just allow all of these memories to allow them to be received into your body. Feel the white light coming down your face, down your shoulders and your arms, and it's activating the DNA in your cells. And as it's moving through your body now, allow anything that is no longer serving you to go out to these magnets, these kind of plasma balls that help pull out everything that's no longer serving you. Allow the white light to move down your arms, back up your arms into your shoulders, and imagine shaking away all of the burdens you felt that came with all of this knowledge. Then allow it to come down into your heart, and allow the white light to remove from your heart all of the heartbreak, maybe the memories of how you were persecuted for this knowledge, to be removed. Then we can move down into the womb or into the stomach area. We all have a creative space in this area, male or female. And just allow it to open and to say that it is safe for me to create my biggest, wildest dreams, my wildest life. And again, allow anything that no longer serves you to be removed from that area. Then we let the white light move down your legs, down the fronts, down through your feet. And we are not here to be like humans having a spiritual being having a human experience. We're actually here to co-create with the human skills and power and the spiritual power. We're meant to have the two interlinked and embodied. So send some roots out into the ground. I actually send 4 roots. One out into the earth, where you tap into the nutrients, to all of the materials you need for all of the things you'll need to create for your dreams and your great vision. See these roots as flowing through the landscape, going to different continents, through the mountains, and just tapping into the ancient wisdom of the earth and to how, the kind of practicality of how you're going to do your great vision. The second root we send out into the water. Water holds a lot of DNA. Again, see this root flowing through the rivers, through the oceans, to the glacial melt at the bottom of the sea, through the water inside the caves, to the ancient waters. And again, just allow that information to come back up to your body to give you all of the new DNA that has been hidden by your ancestors in the waterways. Then we send one out into the oxygen and the air. There's lots of pockets of air in the ground, so we can imagine the root flowing through the earth, collecting up all of these gases that you need to help awaken your DNA, to help you have more vitality. And it also represents your intellect and intelligence. And finally, the 4th root we send to the center of the earth, to the molten core, to the fire. And we ask that energy to come back up the root into a ball just below your belly button in front of your spine called the Tantian. This is your battery pack. Charge it up now, because you're going to need this vitality to take action on your great vision. The ball is small, but the power it holds is intense. Just like you charge your mobile phones, you can charge yourself up this way. I'm just going to ask the white light to clean out your roots, to make them as strong and as wide, to bring as much intelligence in from the earth to your body as you currently need. Then we bring the white light back up the backs of your legs into the base of your spine, and imagine a light switch on each vertebra, because this is where your nervous system travels out into the rest of your body. And as the white light goes into the first vertebra, imagine lots of little pathways coming out from that vertebra, out through your organs, through your bones, through your muscles, to your skin. And just imagine them now glowing with this pearlescent white light. And then move up to the next vertebra, flip that switch, let the light travel out through these tiny pathways, down your legs, and keep going up the spine, flipping these switches. Time is not linear. We can just do it by snapping our fingers and imagining it done. You just notice your whole body now is glowing. Your nervous system is relaxing. Any fears you had about taking action on your great vision now are dissolving. Again, we send any energy no longer serving you out to the to the plasma ball magnets. When we get up to your head, we create a 6-pointed star. 1 point at the top of your head, 1 at your throat, 1 at each ear, 1 at your forehead, 1 at the back. And we flood this now with the white light. This is your antenna to your higher self. Let it rebalance your hypothalamus, the adrenal glands, thymus, all of the glands in the brain, and then bring your left and right hemispheres into balance. Because you need both to work together if you're going to create this amazing great vision. Now bring your attention down to your heart. And maybe put your hand on your heart and take a deep breath in. Inside your heart, you'll find 3 flames, a gold, a blue, and a pink flame. Imagine you can step into these flames without burning. They're energy flames. In the first flame of golden energy, it's sovereignty. I want you to claim back your sovereignty to your channeled information, because you've given this up out of fear before. So just claim that back now. Know that it's safe to do so. The energetic landscapes at this stage of evolution have all changed. We're meant to reclaim it now. Now, if your body tips forward, then that's telling you that process is finished. And then we can move on to the next flame. So we can use our body testing now dynamically as we're going through the flames to see if that process is finished. So I usually ask you to dissolve what we don't want and then program something new in. So I'm just asking it to show you your new level of sovereignty that you need for the next phase of your life. Next, we move into the blue flame of divine wisdom. So imagine being given a book, like a new life manual for how to channel, how to achieve your great vision being given to you now energetically. And again, anything that doesn't match this book, we can let go of and let it go out to the magnets and just be willing and open to receive. You don't have to know. This is just an awakening. Once this is done, you will be receiving information long after this. And again, your intention and your beliefs, this doesn't have to be a struggle or difficult. You can just snap your fingers and say, it's done. Finally, we move into the pink flame of divine love. And here, I want you to feel like the whole universe is celebrating you for being brave enough to access your great vision. Because when you're serving humanity with your frequency, you're helping the universe, which is helping all other living beings, and the universe celebrates that. And this is not about sacrificing yourself. This is just becoming better versions of yourself. The path is much easier than you can imagine. Finally, we see a pearl, and we step through the pearl, and we find ourselves within the cosmic realm of the heart. We see a bridge. We walk through the stars and the nebulas to this beautiful floating garden. It's filled with exotic plants, buildings, whatever your mind perceives as your perfect space to meet your higher self. There's a fence around the garden because we don't want any energies coming in uninvited. So we close the gate behind us and we call on the higher self to come and stand on a mound in front of us. We don't want to overload our bodies initially. We want to get this meeting gentle. When you call on the being of your higher self to stand there, they might be a physical form, but they might just be an energy or a feeling. As you sit in your beautiful garden, you're just putting your mind's eye out to this higher self. And you're asking, is this the best higher self that I need for today? And then use your body testing to give you a yes. If it says no, ask for a better one. And we ask 3 times until we get 3 yeses. Is this the best higher self for me? And it evolves. The higher self upgrades as we go, so it's okay for it to change. Now, sometimes we can be a bit fearful of meeting our higher self. So you can imagine having a power animal next to you. I like dinosaurs. I like to have a pterodactyl by my side. But whatever animal makes you feel safe, then just call in your higher self again. Are you the highest version of my higher self for me? And when you get the yeses, then you just tune in, just get a sense of what this higher self is saying. We're asking them for some action that we can take in our lives to help us uncover our great vision and learn a bit more about our true essence. So ask your questions, use your body testing to give you yeses and nos. You can even pull a card if you can't quite understand the frequency or what it's showing you, then pull a card and just keep it there for review later. As you're listening to this energy, just know that a great vision doesn't have to be a doing, it just has to be a being. Maybe it's telling you be more joy and share that joy with the world. Maybe it's telling you to read more with your children. Maybe it's telling you to speak up more in the office. Maybe it's telling you to change jobs. The message can come in many different ways. So get a sense, ask the questions, and use your body testing to help you refine your answers. So I'm just going to leave you a few minutes there to do your questions. And don't filter what you get. Even if your mind seems to run off to your chores, those chores might be relevant to what we're trying to uncover. So write everything down. I'll give you a few more seconds, maybe 5 seconds, because we can then move into the global aspirations. So now you can come back at any time. Now that you've been introduced to this process, you can redo this any time to ask more questions. So as you're sitting in your garden, I want you to kind of put your eyes out further and notice around you that there is almost like a shimmering veil that is represented by that circle you drew around the dot. See if you can get a sense of where that is. And somewhere in that shimmering veil, there will be a doorway. So you might have to imagine you're kind of touching it or projecting your energy out and scanning it. The doorway may be locked. You might have to use some magic powers like blowing up the locks or imagining you already have the key. But see if you can open the door. This doorway is only to another level of your consciousness, and only you can access this. And if the door opens, the whole shield will dissolve and show you almost like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, the magic behind life. Now ask your higher self, what am I here to do for the evolution of humanity? What is my Aquarius big vision? And try and remember as many of the clues as you can and jot them all down. The clues can come backwards, so don't try and put any expectation on them. So this, for humanity, global aspiration isn't about your personal needs and wants. This is something that will change the way the world works, help create the new earth. And no, this is something that you don't build this, it's already there. You're just trying to clear away the obstacles to get to it. So I'll give you a minute there, and then we'll. So again, use all your senses, what you hear, what you taste, what you see, what you feel, what you think you know. Just bring your mind now back to your garden. And just ask your higher self one more time, give me one action that I can take in real life that will lead me on my path to my great vision. Just one action. It could be rest. It could be talking to somebody. It could be eating a certain food. Just one action. Nice. So even again, like Carolyn said, if you haven't received something, you probably have, and it'll unfold over the next few days. But we're going to ask the higher self one last request to help you now put these pieces, these jigsaw pieces that you've just claimed, into some order and to work with you closely in developing this into an action plan. We say thank you to our higher self. We just remember that feeling of what it feels like to be so close to our higher self. We say goodbye. And then we come out of the garden, we open the gate, across the bridge, back into the heart, bringing that feeling back into the physical body. I like to imagine in our heart that there's a palace and there's a throne room where we can sit. And we usually bring back a gift or something that anchors this feeling So what is your gift now that you can place on the walls of your heart palace? Something that will help you remember, and that when you tune into will help you get back to meet your higher self quickly. Take a deep breath and just imagine this energy now is all filling your heart. With each in-breath, it expands, it fills your chest. Each out-breath, breathe out anything that no longer serves you. As you breathe in, imagine your chest opening and expanding. Let it flow through the rest of your body. Out-breath, remove anything that no longer serves you. Each in-breath, you're getting bigger and bigger. You're becoming this version of you need to be to do this great vision. Each out-breath, all your fears, your limitations and beliefs that are ready to dissolve are going out. Until your whole body now is tingling with this excitement, the curiosity, a sense of adventure, of how this journey is going to unfold. Now bring that feeling all the way back to where you're sitting, noticing where you're sitting and the space around you. 3, your eyes are starting to open. 2, back in your space, bringing back this new connection and this new wisdom. 1, eyes open, back where we started. So hopefully you got a feeling for how the body testing enhanced that journey for you, so you can now become more sovereign of your interface with your higher self. The road to peace is paved with good inventions. Yes, innovative. We have to be really out of the box and crazy now. Think of Leonardo da Vinci when he first decided he was going to create a plane, and imagine all the issues he had trying to sell that and get an investment for it. That's who we're stepping into being and being brave about. So the more crazy the vision, usually the more accurate it is. I know that sounds intuitively the wrong way, but that's how I find if it sounds too normal, then you didn't go big enough. So the last bit is draw another circle now around the circles you've drawn. Where do you think your consciousness now is sitting? And hopefully you can give me a thumbs up to say it's got bigger now that it's expanded. Cool. And the thing is, this isn't just a one-off thing. It's not a big bang. This is incrementally progressive. Your body upgrades, the intelligence gets bigger, your soul wisdom gets bigger. So let it go at its right pace. Don't try and rush to the biggest version. It's like, why would you want to know your Christmas present before you unwrapped it, you know? It's the excitement. That's what we're trying to believe in, the journey, not the destination. And by the way, I call the people that have mastered their great vision and their true essence quantum humans. Because I think we give being human a bad rap, like it's something we had to endure as spiritual beings. No, we decided to come here and combine the physical attributes, the ancient wisdom in our DNA, the earth magic and our spiritual magic into this being I call the quantum human.
Wow. Wonderful. What a wonderful process. Thank you so much. Lovely.
Thank you, guys.
Beautiful.
They're welcome to share if you've got anything, but
Yeah.
sometimes this kind of process takes a moment to process and really get to grips with what you've got.
I think we're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're still there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really at the keyboard, are we? But it's interesting the way you brought those two together, that there isn't, here we are practical humans and then off we are as the spiritual being. You created that pathway between the two. Very interesting. And it's interesting through your awakening and then your love of tech and your knowledge of tech and your rationality, how you built that. Very interesting.
It's quite different for people who've not done my work before, because it's all come from that reprogramming kind of concept of reprogram our human, but on a DNA level. But yeah, there's definitely this, you have to be, if we're here to create heaven on earth, we have to become heaven on earth, which means we have to be embodied spiritual, higher self, soul wisdom every moment.
It's basic, isn't it?
Mm.
How else will we get heaven on earth? That's wonderful. I'm going to invite Judy in now. Where are you, Judy? You unmute yourself. How are you feeling, Judy?
Well, I just had the best ever vision. And if I'm typical of everyone in the audience here, we've had the most extraordinary evening. So massive thank you to Carolyn. Massive thank you to Trudy-Marie. Huge thanks as always to Gina. All of you have given this the most spectacular, unusual, deep, all the adjectives that I might come up with aren't going to be adequate to express what an extraordinary time we've had this evening. So thank you all so much. And I want to wish everybody who's here and everyone who's going to listen to the exercises and watch the video in the future, I hope you will all become the highest of your higher selves and be regularly in touch with your soul. So that's what we need to be doing at this time in this very chaotic planet of ours. So thank you. Thank you all so much. And thank you everyone for being here and bringing your beautiful energy to the evening.